Jags get a touchdown right before the half to make it 27-7. And then they start chipping away. Chipping away. They outscore the Chargers by 10 in the third quarter. And then they blank them 11-zip in the fourth quarter. And a gutsy go for two call mixed in there.
Which, Al Michaels, they didn't know why the ball was so close to the goal line. They had no idea. Didn't have a clue. So, were you able to lock into that?
There was a lot of criticism of Al Michaels online on Saturday night.
Were you able to lock in with the volume up and all that? Did you guys truly watch?
See, I was not, and I went back and watched the highlights on YouTube today, and for a game-winning field goal that comes at the back end of a 27-point or whatever comeback, it wasn't the most, enthralling call that Al Michaels has ever put together.
It was not exactly, do you believe in miracles?
No,
yes, shall we say.
That's what makes it so hard to believe that the same guy that generated one of the most iconic calls in sports broadcasting history, considering the moment and then what he said. I mean, I get chill bumps when I hear the yes at the end of that call. And it was the entire second half, though. It wasn't just the field goal. Al Michaels and Tony Dungy were asleep. It's like you guys are witnessing the third greatest comeback in the history of the sport in front of your eyes, and you're calling it like it's the third quarter of the second preseason game?
And not only are you witnessing it, you're witnessing it with an environment that matches the gravity of the moment. I mean, Jaguars fans, they were dead, but they didn't leave. They stuck with it, and then they're like, oh, maybe. And it got louder and louder.
I will say
louder.
this, though. I will say this. I came back to something you said last week about it being more of a college town. I was thinking, while that comeback was going on, if that was a Florida-Georgia game, even with half the stadium, I think it would have been louder than the full stadium cheering for the Jaguars.
Well, NBC did a terrible job. Terrible job. It's like they muffled the crowd. Like they didn't use their Nat sound mics. It sounded like they were broadcasting the game from elsewhere.
It did not sound like a massive sellout crowd going as berserk as they should for that kind of comeback.
Interestingly enough, to Borky's point, I decided I needed a sugar fix on Saturday night before the end of that game, and so I went to Dairy Queen. They have what they call a cupfection. It's a brownie with Heath bar and soft serve ice cream and chocolate drizzle and caramel drizzle, and it is divine. And so I was listening to it on the radio, and through the radio, you could hear the energy. You could feel the energy. The volume was there. The crowd was berserk. Yeah. It was not NBC's best work.
No.
By a long shot.
In CBS, I think something they do well with NFL games, it's like they almost have it turned up too much to where you're having to kind of listen to the announcers to hear them because the crowd is so loud. It's the contrast was stark, but I think it's time for Al Michaels to not be on the call. I hate this because he is a legend. But if that's – and sometimes Twitter piles on undeservingly, but they were spot on, man. It was dead. Again, the third greatest comeback, largest comeback in the history of playoff professional football. And it's like they were narrating, Queen Elizabeth's funeral.
You know what I would like to sense from an announcer of a game like that? I don't need Gus Johnson. No disrespect intended. He's obviously very, very good at his craft. I want to sense from the person that is broadcasting that game, without a lot of silliness and without screaming, I want to sense that there's no place on earth that they would rather be than right where they're sitting doing exactly what they're doing. And if you really are enjoying it, that's not a stretch. I want even Al Michaels, who has covered and seen and done, and it's all there in his resume. I would love for Al Michaels to take just a half step back during a commercial break and go, I get to do this. I don't know how much longer, but I get to do this. I didn't get that